Good morning. Welcome back to Sow, Grow and Cook. It's the 8th of March and I need to start clearing some of the beds from my vegetable garden in preparation for some spring planting. A couple of the beds that I'm interested in clearing are full of leeks that I planted last summer. Now, what am I going to do with all those leeks? Let's go have a look. But please don't judge me on the weeds growing in the raised beds because they've overwintered as well. Come on, let's go have a look. Last spring, I planted around 150 leeks or so. I planted the seeds in, I think it was probably April, May time, and transplanted them into the ground in our raised beds. Oh, probably June time, mid-June, high summer. And I don't like leeks, especially in the summer, because we've already got quite a lot of vegetables coming in. I tend to think of them more as a winter, autumn and winter crop. So they stand the frost quite well. I've been harvesting them for soups, stews and casseroles for several weeks now, probably since November, October, November time. And now that it's March, I want to prepare the beds for something else. Plus the fact that they will shortly start to flower, and a couple of them are beginning to get tough stems in the middle. I don't think you can quite see it yet. So before that happens, I think I'm going to harvest quite a few of them. And you think, well, what are you going to do with all those leeks in one go? Our winters are cold, but not that severe, so things do tend to winter over. So I've got quite a few leeks here. And again, I could probably leave them for a few more weeks, or maybe a couple more weeks, but then they'll start to change. Their middles will get quite tough, and I'll have to cut away and probably waste quite a lot because the seed or the flowering stem will start to grow through. There's Pip again staring at the bowl. I have got rather a lot of self-seeded parsley, and that is a biennial, so that means this spring, in a few weeks' time, or maybe another month's time, we'll send up a seeding stalk in the middle and set seed, and then start the whole process again. And next year, hopefully, I will find more parsley plants. But before it turns all tough and slightly inedible, I'm going to chop some of this and prep it for the freezer. Let's see where else I've got some. I've got another patch there and a patch over there and some more parsley over here. It really, really did come up all over the polytunnel. These are not plants I planted, but they are really welcome to grow here. These stalks, I don't waste those. They're very sweet and juicy. And if you chop them finely with the parsley, you can put them in your soups and stews. And they add such a wonderful aromatic flavor to your food. And parsley is full of vitamin C and folate and all sorts of good things. They're very, very healthy plants and good for you to eat. some of my, well, most of my bok choy now is beginning to flower. What happens is the daylight it has increased and the temperatures are just kind of inching their way up, not incredibly so, but in the polytunnel with the sunlight coming through, and yes, we are getting a little bit of sunlight, um, these things start to go to seed. So they're putting out their little flower buds. But these are delicious, absolutely delicious. They're sweet and they're tender, a little tiny bit like broccoli, but different with a slightly spicy kick, but not too bad. And you can use those fresh in salads and you can put them in stir fries. Or if you're like me, you can just munch them fresh off the plant. Make sure there's no little critters living on them. I don't think there are. Mmm, delicious. Mmm, the red mustard is doing well now. Anyway, I'll meet you back in the kitchen and let's take a look at how I'm going to prep my leeks and my parsley. Okay, so I've brought in the parsley and the leeks. I'm just going to give these a good wash out. I mean, they weren't really dirty. They were undercover in the polytunnel, but this will get rid of any dust or any potential for little insects and things that are harboring in in the foliage. So I'll just tip that out and then refresh it. I'm going to get a clean tea towel now. Put these on the tea towel. Roll it up. Give it a good gentle squeeze to get the excess moisture out. They don't have to be perfectly dry. And then I'm just going to get a few bunches together. With the stems all facing the same way, just for ease of chopping. Get rid of any of the bad bits. Now, again, I save the stems. The stems are very tasty and flavorful. And if you cut them before they go to seed, they're not tough. And if you're going to put them in soups and stews or frittatas, they're lovely in frittatas or scrambled egg. The stems taste delicious then as well. Now the sort of parsley I've got is a flat leaf parsley, so that's my experience of growing parsley. I think the flavour is exceptionally good. You can use curly parsley as well, but I've always found that the flat leaf parsley works really, really well and grows especially well here in my particular microclimate. Right, I'm going to use a recycled plastic bag that I'd frozen some apples in and clean them out. And I'm just going to put this in here. I'm not going to open freeze them on a tray because I haven't got room in my freezer for that particular step. But I do find that if you're just using this for cooking, that if you give it a little tap on the table when it's frozen, it does break it up. So at this stage, I would then label it and pop it in the freezer. No need to blanch or do anything else. And it'll keep good for several months. And when you need it, pull it out of the freezer, give it a little bang on the table to loosen it, and take out as much as you need. And it's perfect. It's a great way of preserving excess soft herbs like parsley. You can do it with cilantro as well, or coriander. You can do it with dill. Basil is a little bit different because it tends to bruise and turn a funny color, but certainly you can blend up basil with oil and freeze those in ice cube trays. You can do the same with parsley as well, but I use it a lot, so I just want it as is, chopped and put in a bag in the freezer. Okay, so on to the leeks. I'm not going to do all of them in this video because that would just take too long. But I've prepped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're not especially big leeks, but they needed taking out. I've given them a really good peeling down. I've taken off a lot of outer leaves. Here's a good example of the seed stalk that's beginning to, or the flower stalk that was beginning to develop in one of them. So I caught that in time. Whoop, I missed out a little leek there. I'll give that a wash and add that to the bag. Sliced down the center of most of these and given them a really good wash. I'm going to just pat them dry and we'll get going on chopping them up. And I'm going to start filling up a big Ziploc bag, which I've reused from a previous occasion, and I've given it a really good clean and dry off. And again, I'm not going to open freeze them in trays. I'm just putting them straight into the bag. And when it comes time for me to use them, I will take the bag out, give it a little tap on the table, reach in and take what I need for the meal that I'm going to use them for. I'm not bothering blanching them because I have found that actually it's not needed. They last a good, I think the last batch I had lasted about 6 months, and they were absolutely fine. And it's a fantastic, convenient way of keeping leeks. Yes, you have to do a little bit of preparation to begin with, but once you've done it, it's there in your freezer, provided you've got the space, and you can take out what you need for soups and stews and anything else you decide to use your leeks for. So there you go, a super simple hack for using and prepping some of those surplus veg that you just want to clear out of your garden before you start planting stuff for the new season. A little bit of effort for now, but then I'll have the convenience of freshly chopped leeks ready to use in a soup or a stew or a casserole, and I will have fresh herbs already chopped that I can just pull out of a bag and put in that saucepan. Let me know in the comments section below if you've got some little clever ways, simple clever ways of using and saving some of your leftover or surplus veg from the garden or from your supermarket shops. I'd be really keen to see what other people do. And once again, thank you for watching So Grow and Cook, and hope to see you again next time. Bye for now.